Guys, I'm so excited. I finished a 14-day clear liquid diet, and no kidding, I did this. And I actually have a couple of tips for those that are going on this little journey or things that have helped me survive these 2 weeks. 14 days, clear liquids, nothing else. Oh my gosh, how many times I thought I was gonna die. I'm gonna list a couple of things, and none of them are in any order, but I just wanted to give some tips and heads up that I couldn't really find for myself when it came to things to actually help me in my journey of trying to just get this thing done as fast as possible, and at the same time being pretty successful. I actually, in the 2-week clear liquid diet, I ended up losing 27.6 pounds. My weight right now, and my surgery is tomorrow, my weight right now is 11.6. My heaviest weight was 347. Some of the things that I wanted to tell you about when it came to this liquid diet, which literally I was jotting things down left and right because there were times when I was totally spent and had to find anything I could to just get through the day, and these are the things that have helped me. The first thing, Crystal Light energy. Can I get an amen? No kidding. Crystal Light anything for any liquid is amazing, but the Crystal Light energy, when I literally thought I was not going to get through a day, I had no energy, I was lethargic, like it was horrible, and I struggle with energy anyway, but I felt like the more I got toxins out of my body, the more effective the energy in the Crystal Light became. So I cannot tell you what a game changer that was for me. So first off is Crystal Light energy packets, and I'd probably put 2 packets to one of the Arrowhead's 24 ounces or whatever, and I know that's pretty potent for some people, but like it literally did the trick and it saved my life. Not to mention with Crystal Light there's a wide variety of different things you can pick. If you know, they have teas, they have juices. I mean, there's so many different tastes that you can get with Crystal Light, so that was really nice. The second thing that helped me through this is, no kidding, warm and cold variations. Sometimes throughout the day I'm drinking nothing but cold, and at night, and especially now because I'm at the end of November 2017, and so it's a little bit more cold, and sometimes it's nice to actually have that variation of a little bit of warm broth or a warm liquid at night to be able to just literally hug your body. So for me, I really like changing it up with the warm and cold variations. I felt like that helped, and sometimes I would need a little bit more of the variation of warm and cold during the day, but it helped me feel like I was having choices. Another thing that I absolutely tried to do, I tried as hard as I could to get as much sleep as possible. I felt like if I could sleep these 2 weeks away, the better off I'd be. But what I found out is the more that I was drinking clear liquids, the more I realized that I had more energy than I thought I would. Originally I didn't. Later I realized I was having tons of energy, that I actually wasn't sleeping in as long, which was frustrating because I wanted to sleep as much as I can, which I still feel like is a good tip. Sleep as much as you can, but one thing along with sleep that I want to sort of tap into too is isolation. I felt like isolation was the best key. I literally were canceling friend dates, like friends dates, whatever. Like I was canceling everything because I just knew I had to hunker down and do this. And friends like to eat. Okay, I don't know about you and your friends, but when we get together, we go to dinner, or we go to someone's house and have desserts or something. We're always eating, and so I literally had to stay away from everyone. Sometimes that may have included like my family a little bit, but isolation is the best thing. And 2 weeks, I felt like people can give up 2 weeks to do this. If they're serious, 2 weeks is not going to be that big of a deal, but isolation really helped me hunker down. And of course, another item that I found very helpful is the support of family and friends. I know sometimes people get really nervous when it comes to telling people that they're taking on this big step, and they don't know how people are going to receive that information or what they're going to say back to them, if they're going to be discouraging or whatnot. But slowly and steadily I've been telling a little bit of my friends, and I love the fact that they are so supportive. I have a really good group of friends, and they're supportive, which I know will help me in the long run as I start with pure solid meals again. I know I won't be able to eat as much, so they won't be asking me why. They won't be putting me in awkward situations because they know already. So for me, I I was nervous at first, but I literally took the steps slowly and slowly to sort of explain what I'm doing. And so I don't know, so I beat them to the punch, and I'm able to explain myself before they get all these preconceived notions. And even if they do, I know that they're my friend, and it's been really lovely to hear that they say to me, you know, with or without this surgery, they support me and love me either way. And honestly, you know, if you guys don't have good friends, go out and get yourself some good friends. I found that the support of friends, and definitely my family goes beyond what they need to do to help make sure that they're not having, we get together every Sunday for a Sunday meal, and they're really good about not throwing things in my face or making it sound that what they're eating isn't that great, or even because today is my last Sunday before tomorrow, Monday, I go into surgery, they're just having soup. And so I don't know, I just really appreciate that, because it is so hard. This is so hard that sometimes at the very end of this, you'll feel like you're going crazy. You will start questioning yourself and your ability to carry this through, your ability of if this is something you really want to do. You're starving so bad that honestly you start thinking, you know, what if I can't eat after the surgery, which is ultimately they're limiting the quantity of food, and maybe it's not worth it. I mean, your mind plays mind tricks like crazy towards the end of this. I know firsthand. So it's really good to have support system there to remind you along the way why you're doing this and why this is going to help you in the long run, and really what you were thinking when you were in your right mind. So obviously family and friends and having that support system is extremely crucial, or at least it was for me. Another thing that really helped me and made the days fly by is having a hobby. Now, I don't know what hobbies are out there. I really didn't think I had any until I started doing these YouTube tutorials or these YouTube videos of just my journey, and I realized I was getting so excited about sharing this journey with whoever would listen, and it was something that would occupy my time, and I would spend tons of time editing videos. I would, you know, get them just right and post them, and it just became really fun. It was like a creative outlet for me, and it was something that took my mind not only off food but made time fly by for me. So definitely, if you have a hobby or you have something that you can start even as a hobby, whether you want to start painting or whether you want to start who knows, like I don't even know, just find a hobby, because something that you can dive yourself into during these 2 weeks, even like putting together a puzzle or something, just whatever is the best time to make this time fly by for you. And it completely helped me with the time. Okay, so for me, I don't know about you food junkies, but like for me, I like watching different promotions or whatever on social media, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's on Instagram or wherever you find it, of people preparing meals, preparing food, preparing desserts. I'm fascinated by that. I love watching it. I'm thinking, oh, it gives me ideas of what I want to do. Oh my gosh, you will realize very quickly that you have to shut some of that stuff down. I mean, I realized that a lot of my social media sort of really tightened up because I just would go on to do what I needed to do and get off. I wasn't cruising as much as I normally am. And because I tell you, food is everywhere. And sometimes I felt strong and I could handle it, but other times I was like, this is the last thing I want to be able to see, when, no kidding, all I want is a carrot. So anyway, whatever. So I just would say limit social media, because there is tons of food on there. And if you're like me and you're a foodie like I am, you're probably following a lot of them. And just so happens, coincidentally, all those things will pop up right when you don't want to see them. Another lifesaver of my life is sugar-free gum. Now, can I tell you, I want to do a shout out to Ice Cube's sugar-free gum. That stuff tastes like bubble gum, and it's sugar-free, and I would just pop it, and I would just pop it randomly throughout the day. They have tons of flavors, but my favorite flavor that I was like go to all the time is grape, and it was like bubble gum. It didn't taste like sugar-free. It literally got my jaw going, so I felt like I was eating something, and it took that sugar crave off a little bit. Sugar-free gum. And whether you want to do, you know, Mints or like Trident or Carefree, any other of the sugar-free gums, that's fine too. But for me, Icebox sugar-free gum, another game changer. It literally got me through. I mean, well worth the money, and you will find that you are spending way less on groceries, obviously. So, I mean, it's okay to splurge and get yourself some much needed sugar-free gum, but let me tell you, sugar-free gum will help you in something that I learned, not necessarily a tip, but something that I learned through this. I was amazed about how my senses were completely heightened. All of a sudden, I'm walking through cubicles of where I work, and oh my word, is that cilantro? All of a sudden, I'm like smelling bread. All of a sudden, I'm smelling pizza, or it was horrible. Burritos, I would smell everything. And honestly, I had a couple offsites where I had to be around food, and I had to help with catering in some of these meals, and there was barbecue. I love barbecue. I was dying. I literally had to just waft it in and smell it and realize, like, sometimes the smell is half of the love of food. And so I just had to go get through and smell things a lot of the time. Oh my gosh, it was so hard because everything's heightened when you can't eat. It's like your body telling you, look, there's food over there, there's food over there. Oh my gosh, something I noticed definitely is how my senses were completely heightened, and I recognized everything. Another thing with my clear liquid diet, something that they obviously asked us to do. Now I get that protein shakes aren't clear, but they wanted us to substitute 3 to 5 protein shakes a day. Get your protein shake in, because that's the only thing helping you not be hungry. So I felt like multiple days, I felt like it was like the only thing that kept me not wanting to cry was a protein shake. And granted, I drink Premier Protein like a lot of you, and I get the sort of bottled packages from Costco, and I just would put them in my fridge, and they were cold when I needed them. And can I tell you, that was amazing, because not only were they cold, but they're pretty good. And so I felt like I was getting, because they're a little heavier, I was getting some substance. And protein obviously helps you remain not hungry. So obviously the more protein shakes you could get, the better. They did say 3 to 5, but every time I realized never skip a protein shake, because that helped a ton. Okay, so the last thing that I was very heavily recognizable during this little clear liquid diet for me was your body fight time and your mental fight time. Now, I felt like the first week I was dealing with a lot of body issues, a lot of cravings, a lot of like just shaping your body into this, and it was sort of, my body was like going through cravings, going through withdrawals. I was just trying to shake my body up. But I noticed very quickly during the second week, it was definitely a mind game. And what I mean by saying mind game, I mean, you are hungry at this point. You have given it your all. You're in you're sliding into home base. You are almost there. You see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I don't know what you believe, call it Satan, call it your own bad habits, call it whatever, but all of a sudden you have things asking if this is something you really want to do. You're missing food at this moment. You're missing out on a lot of occasions that you've probably neglected yourself from, and you're probably getting really angry. Hangry is what I like to call it. Like, I legit got like super hangry yesterday. I have a wonderful sister that came into town to help me through this, and I found myself biting her head off. And it was just because I was hungry. I was mad that I was having to do this, and that not only that I was having to do this, but that I put myself in the situation to have to do this. And so I just was really angry. I Snapchat a lot, and I wasn't wanting to Snapchat because I had nothing positive to say. I was literally having a hard time. I felt like I ran through, I know some people eat Jell-O through this process, but for me, I'm not a big Jell-O person, so that wasn't an option for me. So I just felt like I wasn't eating anything, that I don't know. I just felt like I was sick of all of the options that I'd given myself, and it was just like I was in the home free, or I was ready to be done, and it just, I don't know, I felt like all of a sudden I was questioning the surgery I was getting, if I was getting the right surgery I needed. I was you know, questioning if this is something I really want to do, because some of my favorite things to do is go out and eat with my friends and just like, you know, all these things that I felt like were never going to happen again. Well, obviously I had to put myself in check multiple times. I had to have people put myself in check multiple times to help me realize that this is just never a never thing. And so even though you feel very limited and restricted with the clear liquid diet and you are really hopefully strict and don't cheat, I technically didn't cheat because the fear of dying on the surgical table just, I don't know, wasn't appealing to me at this time in my life. So anyway, I just really felt like I was angry. I was hangry. I was mad at a lot of things. I was questioning a lot of my decisions. I was starting to be really rude to the people I love most, or the doctor's office trying to get questions. I mean, I just found myself a lot more like short-tempered, and I don't know, it's been hard. I mean, I had a pretty bad experience with the lap band procedure that failed me, and so there was a lot of PTSD that I was going through, not wanting to make a decision for my life and have it ultimately blow up in my face. I mean, there's a lot of things that were coming back to the surface that I literally had to like, I was calling on the Calvary. I was having everyone come around and support me, and I needed them. And I was really lucky that I had them in my court, because had I not had invited them in this journey with me, I would have had no one to turn to, you know? And so it was really nice for them to remind me why I was doing this, to remind me what I had told them, why I was beginning to start this in the first place. So I don't know if these are helpful. If they were, that's great. Give me a thumbs up or subscribe to see more of these videos. But ultimately, this was just sort of the things that helped me through the liquid diet. And I hope if someone reads this that it's helpful. That literally means the world to me. So anyway, tomorrow's surgery time, so it's game on. Wish me luck.